Everyone talks about how you got to read an epic fantasy, but nobody actually talks about how overwhelming and intimidating that can be. The world building, the politics, the magic, the names alone. My God, it can be so overwhelming. If you've ever felt this before, hey, I'm Professor B. Today we are back with Fantasy 101 and we're talking about epic fantasy. So as always, welcome back to Fantasy 101. I do have a whole playlist devoted to this series. This series is me trying to get my best friend to pick up a fantasy book. And in order to do that, we got to figure out what fantasy she actually likes. And so today we are talking about epic fantasy, also known as high fantasy. As always with the disclaimers, no, I'm not an expert. I am just a book lover who just so happens to like fantasy and wants everybody else to like fantasy too. And so my goal of the end of this series is that if I actually got you to check out a fantasy book, if you've never picked up a fantasy book before, or I got you to try a new genre of fantasy, or I introduced you to a new author, or I even highlighted some Black or POC authors that you did not know about, my goal has been complete. So with that being said, what the heck is high or epic fantasy? High or epic fantasy usually takes place in a completely fictional made-up world. This world operates on its own thing. It has its own history. It has its own magic, its own politics, its own map. You'll usually find maps and glossaries in high fantasy books. There are usually very high stakes in these. A lot of high fantasies also carry the other tropes of like the chosen one. There's a lot of sword and sorcery fantasy in these elements. There are a lot of different other fantasy genres that are present in a lot of high or epic fantasies. There are also at times, there could be sci-fi blended into these as well. Thriller and horror also kind of find a space in here as well. But like I said, because we're talking in the general sense, we're only going to focus on the subgenre of the fantasy. So like I said, there are huge high stakes: saving the kingdom, stopping a war, defeating dark forces, trying to save the entire world from like being consumed, or some type of like, if we don't save this, like the entire world is in jeopardy. It's always something of that caliber, or like, we're fighting this kingdom because if we don't, like, they're going to usurp us, or like we're trying to restore the rightful heir to the throne. There are all those kinds of things attached in fantasy. So it's not just one person's story. It's a story that usually impacts the entire world of that story. So wherever that world is set, it's like the entire world is resting on his hands. Like that kind of thing. That's very epic, high fantasy sounding, right? Because it is. So there are some key factors that I think for high fantasy that you can spot them. High fantasy is one of the genres that I like reading. It's just usually I have to wait a while in between the books, which doesn't bother me. Personally, it's hard for me to believe that you can write a fantasy book and release it in January and have another book released by November. So I like when they take a long time in between them, but that does cause me to have to reread them because usually with the high fantasy, like I said, they are set in a completely made up world or a secondary world. And so because of this, there are like a large cast of characters. There's usually tons of new people. A lot of times these books are multiple POV. There's different regions. There's usually some type of political intrigue. So in epic fantasies, especially in their first books, you do spend a lot of time kind of learning the area. Like you get introduced to a ton of people. They try to explain the politics of the book to you. If there's a magic system, they try to give you a general idea what the magic system is like. There's so much information packed into usually the first book of a high fantasy, or even if it's like a singular standalone high fantasy, the first couple of chapters are like really heavy, especially with usually in these books, there are complex magic systems. Obviously some are better than others and some are more magical than others. But these systems have their own rules, their own history, and their own consequences that also have to be discussed. So a lot of times, this is why I say it's a little overwhelming, but don't freak out because it gets better. As always, there are some common tropes that you will see in the subgenre. So there's things like the chosen one, the prophecy, the dark lord, the found family, epic war and battles, Obviously, two of the most famous ones that I can tell people that don't read books are The Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. Like, that is the like highest ones I can think of. Of course, we're coming out with the list of some high fantasy ones that I think you'd like, so stay tuned for that. But yes, I personally love high fantasy because I like to escape to other worlds. I like when authors create whole new worlds. I personally think they're awesome. For me, what I like about that is that it gives me the chance to like exist somewhere else. It's like, I like to be very dramatic. It's like, can I imagine this like a TV show running in my head, or like a movie with a very large budget operating in my head? Yes. A lot of times, sometimes when I read epic fantasies or high fantasies, I actually imagine the book in my head animated. I don't know if I'm the only person that does that. Like, I imagine it animated because I want to see like all of the magic and stuff happening. And I like when a book is descriptive enough to where it could paint a picture for me in my head as I'm reading it. I also love it because high fantasies and epic fantasies give me a chance to kind of like become obsessed with the lore of the world that the author created. They also make me thoroughly invested in the characters and like the long stories. And usually in some of these books, they have like factions of like magic and stuff. And I find myself trying to connect that way in the book to basically just be a part of it. Like, I like fantasy that puts me in the world and makes me want to feel a part of the world, or makes me even want to experience more of the world. Like, when you get me to start begging authors to make novellas or like continue in the world, I'm down with that. Once you get me there, I'm pretty much set. And I'm pretty much obsessed from that point on. Now, like I said before, to a beginner, in the fantasy realm, high or epic fantasy can seem extremely daunting. So I do have some tips for the beginner. So what I want for you, if you want to dive into epic fantasies, I want you to remember two major things. In a lot of epic high fantasies, in the beginning chapters, if you're doing a standalone, or even the beginning book, there's a lot of information being dumped out to you. Sometimes it's being told through a character's eye. Sometimes it's just being told in like an informational way. Either way, they have to build the world for you in your imagination. So there will be a lot of information in the beginning. And I can see why that would deter people from wanting to continue the series. I completely get that. But I think for that, it's better to start with stories that are one person point of view, or they have simpler worlds building. I personally like books that have maps and glossaries. They make the whole thing a little less overwhelming, in my opinion. Also, for high fantasies, sometimes I tell people listen to the audiobook, because sometimes the information is a little overwhelming, or maybe the names are just, so interestingly spelled that you don't know how to pronounce it, or like the language is weird or something. And if you get too bogged down with that, then you won't want to finish. I also say, like, don't stress about remembering everything. A lot of times you end up reading them multiple times anyway, especially if you really like it. It's also okay to DNF fantasy books and epic fantasies that are not your thing. And it's even better to pause, because like I said, it could seem very, very overwhelming to somebody that has never dived into fantasy to jump into high fantasy. I personally would not recommend high fantasy as the first thing that a new fantasy reader should read. But I do also think that, pick a genre and run with it is also a philosophy. So it's not really like, I'm not saying don't do it. I personally, like I said, I really like epic high fantasies. So if you're looking for that, I think that's a great place to go. So like I said before, if you like fantasy, or you're finally starting to think that you want to give fantasy a chance, make sure to check out my next video. We're going to be giving some recommendations. Like I said, we've already covered a couple different genres. We've covered magical realism versus urban fantasies. We've covered cozy fantasies. We've covered dystopian fantasies. So if you're interested, check out the playlist. I have a little lesson video and a recommendations video for each genre. If you want me to cover another subgenre of fantasy, but first, please leave it down below in the comments. We are still on the goal to get that YouTube check. So if you guys like these kinds of videos, please let me know down below in the comment section. For this one, if you've made it all the way through, please leave a fairy. No, I did that before. Leave a wizard down below in the comment section. Until the next video, guys. Bye.